Welcome to Living the Empowered Life channel. My name is Yvonne and this channel is about bringing you all things empowering, encouraging and inspiring. On this channel I like to share things to do with personal development, encouragement, motivation and inspiration. So if this is the type of content you're looking for, please do hit the subscribe button. So guys, in today's video I want to show you about having a powerful mindset when you feel that situations are against you. I recently came across a post on Quora. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a public advice sharing platform where people can post their questions or advice about something or something they've been through, and people are invited to comment. So it's called Quora. So the person posted, "I'm unemployed, broke, balding, living with my parents, about to turn 30, friendless, depressed and miserable. How can I possibly turn it around?" So before I get into what one of the kind of people who responded to this question said, what I do like about what he has said, even though his question or what he has said seems quite hopeless, is what he said at the end: how can I turn it around? So for me that shows that he is still hopeful that something can happen with his life, but he just doesn't know how. So this person, and I picked out his kind of response because it just shows what the power of an empowered mind can do, working with what you have and finding a way to get yourself out of your circumstance, even if it does seem dire. So I'll put a picture of the guy here because he's put his picture in the post, and basically he's responded to this guy because he has or is going through a similar kind of life experience. So he says, "Unemployed, apply to jobs no matter how beneath you they may seem." He says, "I used to be a pot washer for KFC. You need to start somewhere." How many people would consider doing a job like that? A lot of people, even in the position that this guy is in, would still consider that something they would not do. But this guy obviously responding to this question about being unemployed, and what he did, became a pot washer for KFC, shows that he was trying to get himself out of his circumstances. The next thing he shared was broke. So he's basically going through the list of what the guy has shared. He says, when you get your entry-level job, save at least 10% of your income every month until you have 3 months worth of income. This works well as a safety fund which will support you if anything bad happens and you need to pay out sudden expenses. Once you have your safety fund, I'd start investing in the stock market, starting with maybe about £500 or $500. Miserable, he says, start engaging in hobbies and activities that you enjoy for their own sake. I like reading, going on walks, playing chess, watching football, TV series and films, and working out. You won't have time to feel miserable when you're engaged in activities you enjoy for their own sake. I love that. The fact that he is saying you don't have to be bored, find something to do and just engage in it. This is the thing. It may not be the things that you really like to do, but do engage in something. On the other hand, I would say that it is good to try and find something that at least piques your interest. If you're feeling bored, if you're in a position like this guy, if I was giving him advice, I would say try and find something that piques your interest. There must be something that you like. But nevertheless, it's good that he's told him, just get going with something so you don't feel bored. Balding. So as you see from the picture, this guy who's given this advice is going bald. He said, join the club and see pictures below of my receding hairline. He said, I faced this problem as well. So you either shave your head, get a buzz cut, or get a hair transplant. You see, again, he's given this guy options out of things he think might not be an option. He's going bald. Oh well, I'll just be bald then. There's nothing I can do about it, and then feel negative about it. He's actually saying to the guy, no, there's things you can do. Get a buzz cut, shave it all off, or get a hair transplant. These are all options. So this is a way of empowering him in his situation. He said, pick one. I don't care enough about my hair to get a hair transplant. I'd rather put my money towards investments or a holiday. Yeah, I love this advice that this guy's giving, He says, living with parents, use it to your advantage to try and climb the ladder in your entry-level role. And he's put in closed captions, even in jobs like working at KFC, you can earn a decent salary climbing up the ladder, and eventually you earn enough money to rent your own place, or may even be able to buy your own house. While you're living with your parents, you can save more, so make the most out of it. So, if you're still living with a parent in this day and age and you are working towards something, I think that is totally okay. I don't see a problem with somebody who is still living at home with their parents if they have a plan in place that is going to help them to take that next step in their life. A lot of the time back in the day, there used to be a real thing about leaving your parents' house by a certain age. But you only have to look at the way life is set up today, with the amount that rent is for even a one bedroom property in London, or even a box room in London. I'm talking about London because that's where I'm based. The prices are absolutely horrendous. To just rent a box room, in most cases, is more than renting a local authority house. It's absolutely crazy. So the fact that people are now seen living at home with their parents not as a thing to be ashamed of anymore, but as something that is helping them to get their financial life straight, so that they can either buy a house or move abroad or something like that, is a positive thing. So instead of him seeing it as a negative, he really should see it as a positive and make the most of it. Friendless, he says, join meetup groups like meetup.com and you'll be able to meet like-minded people. Pursue hobbies that will help you meet people who are interested in things like you. There are even apps where you can make friends. You can also reach out to colleagues when you get your job, or some old friends and friendships. Depressed and miserable, again, focus your energies on activities you enjoy. It's almost impossible to feel depressed when you are doing something you enjoy. If you're miserable, journal down why you feel that way. You might be able to untangle your mind on paper and find the root cause of your unhappiness. Once you root out the cause, you can take steps to make you happier. The only thing I will say there is that being depressed and being miserable is two different things. Depression is an actual mental illness. I have had depression on and off for a number of years. I don't have it now, but for a number of years, over 20 years, I struggled with depression. And it really is like how I used to describe it. It was like I had a clamp on my brain and I just couldn't seem to think straight. I couldn't function at times. I just felt very heavy and very low. And it's very different to being miserable, because you're miserable with your situation, but it's not kind of making you feel incapacitated in any way like depression. So I would say depression and being miserable is two different things. But nevertheless, the guy has given really good advice, and I think actually he should be some kind of empowerment coach or life coach, because he's been able to find his way through his circumstance, and there's nothing more powerful than when you have gone through something and you're able to share that with other people. Because who is the best person to give advice about coming through a situation like that? Obviously somebody that has been through it themselves. And the fact that he's taken his time out to kind of write this piece in response to this guy with this kind of question about, he's got all these things going on in his life, how does he get out of it? And he's taken his time to respond to him and give him options. I think that is a really, really great thing. And I really hope that guy will see this advice as something that he can start to act on. He can use this to kind of get steps in the right direction. But it all depends as well on his mindset. And from what I've read with this question, it seems that he has got a mindset that wants to turn things around. So hopefully he will be able to apply or use some or all of the advice that this person has given to help him to make those life changes. But guys, I just wanted to share this piece with you on Quora, because for me it was a perfect example of what living the empowered life looks like, where you take control of your circumstances and not allow your circumstances to dictate to you how your life should go. This is a perfect breakdown of somebody who is showing somebody how to do that. So that was it for this video. Let me know below in the comments if you have had a similar situation and how you turned your life around. If you felt that your life was backed into a corner, you felt hopeless, you were jobless, you had no friends, or you were going through some type of difficulty, how you turned your life around. How did you go from feeling that hopelessness to feeling hopeful, and also as well changing the way that you think? Until the next video, take care.